Good morning. My name is Janet Kaplan, and I am a member of this congregation and your worship associate today. Are we okay here? On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, intern Minister Liz Martin, Director of Religious Exploration Lexi Brown, our music director Alex Peach, and the greeters and technical team that are making today's live stream possible, I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North Congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, whom you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, all are welcome here. Welcome to all that are joining us remotely. For any visitors who are here with us for the first time, and if you're comfortable doing so, would you please stand and tell us your name and where you're from so we can get to know you better? Anyone on this side? Anyone on this side? Okay. All right, just one small announcement. Although this will not apply. It says, are you new to UUMAN? Would you like to learn more about our principles, our values, and what UUMAN is all about? Then please attend the UU 102 session during second hour today. Please see Lynn Hannon for more information. And also the remaining second hour offerings are listed in your order of worship. And now let us greet one another in the hand or elbow of friendship.
Good morning. Although there's no visitors here today, we're not always set up like this, but you all know this, right? Each week. Today's call to worship is by the Reverend Dan Schatz. When I speak of love, I do not mean romance, though this too deserves praise.
I do not mean a warm feeling, though goodness knows we need warmth in bitter times.
When I speak of love, I do not mean making friends, though I could use them. And I recognize only love creates friendship from the ashes of enmity.
When I speak of love, I do not mean acquiescence, self-sacrifice, cheap forgiveness, or a false promise of perfection.
No, the world is overfilled already with such easy sentiments.
When I speak of love, I mean nothing more or less than opening to what is sacred in all of us.
Even when it is broken.
Even when it is hidden.
Even when it is inconvenient.
This love transforms and illumines my heart.
This love shapes my living.
This love demands better of me, always.
This love brings me home when I have lost my way.
So, when I speak of love, please do not shake your head or smile in condescension.
Instead, listen. Listen to your soul's own longing.
Together, Dave, together, let's do it together. Together,
Let us
speak of love.
And now let us light our chalice together.
Okay, we light our chalice to signify our commitment to support one another in our personal and spiritual quests for wisdom and understanding. May the flicker of the chalice light remind us to offer sensitivity, respect, honesty, generosity, and love to all gathered here and to the world around us. Please rise as you are able and join us in singing the hymn 1009, Meditation on Breathing. It's in the soft back hymnal. That was fun. This is the time in our service where children, young and old, are invited to the front of our time for ages. Invited to the front for our time of ages. And the choir, you are invited to take a seat over here with the rest of the group. Since this is a multi-gen service, there will not be any children's chapel this morning. After the story, children can return to sit with their parents. After service, please escort your children to their appropriate RE classroom in Discovery Cottage during second hour.
Okay, ready to go?
Take it,
Okay.
Rollin.
It's Grandpa Rollins' story time, and we don't have a lot of children here today. We have a few. I think, given the weather, some people are worshiping at the Church of the Inner Spring, as they say. And so today's story, I'll try to hold this up where people can see all the way from the camera back there. This is one of the Akbar and Birbal stories, okay, from India. And I've done some before, and these were actually real people. Akbar was one of the greatest kings ever in all of history. You may remember a long time ago I did a story about he took the best parts of every religion in the world and put them together into one religion. I need to do that story again sometime. And his vizier, his assistant advisor was Birbal, who was also a real person and was very clever. And so this is one of the stories, and I have a story about the story, as a matter of fact. Mr. Ashok is from India, and he grew up on Akbar and Birbal stories. And when I first did one, I called it Akbar and Birbal. And Ashok, Mr. Ashok said, Roland, it's pronounced Birbal. I said, okay, Birbal. No, Birbal. No, it's Birbal. No, Birbal. And there's some sound in there that I absolutely cannot hear. I don't know what it is. But to me, that's one of the things that is just so interesting about when people, like we all our families did at some point, we come from another country and another culture, and we bring all that interesting stuff and interesting stories and interesting, I mean, where would we be without pizza and tacos, right? I mean, you know, having people come in from other cultures is so wonderful. But anyhow, back to the story. Okay, this is the story when King Akbar had noticed that there was a temple. You see this temple here on the mountaintop. There was a temple where the high priest of the temple had passed away. So it was empty. It was not being used. And King Akbar, in his wisdom, he said, we've got a nice building there. We don't need to let that sit there unused. So let's go find a new chief priest and put him in the temple, and let's get it going again. But the steps, see the steps up to the temple, they had a lot of sharp rocks and brambles because it hadn't been cared for in a long time. So he said, Birbal, my good vizier, go out and talk to some of the Hindu priests, and because Akbar was Muslim and Birbal was Hindu, but they were best friends, and so he sends Birbal out, and he says, go pick a new chief priest. Go find out who the best person to be chief priest is. So Birbal goes out there, and he talks to all the priests, and he said, we need a new chief priest for this new temple. So what I want to do is the person who can get to the highest place in the temple first will be the new chief priest. So a bunch of them took off running, and they went up through the sharp rocks and the brambles running up to the top of the temple. But another one of the priests, this one here, you see, he stayed behind, and he started clearing out the rocks and the brambles from the steps. And Birbal goes over to him and says, why are you doing this? And he says, because I want to clear the way for other people so they can get where they're going. That's what I want to do. And so they come back down, and then one of the big strong man here says, I was the strongest and the fastest and the bravest running through the brambles and over the sharp rocks. Am I the new leader? And Birbal says, well, those things can sometimes be very important, but that's not what we're looking for in a leader. What we're looking for in a leader is the one who clears the path so that other people can get where they need to be. This will be our new leader. And so the big strong man says, Birbal Sahib, thank you for this important teaching. I now understand what leadership is, and I will learn from and follow my new master. So that is the story of the new chief priest.
Okay. At this point in our service, we share our joys with each other to magnify them and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward, state your name and drop a pebble in the bowl, and express a joy or sorrow that you may have. For those of you attending via our live stream, if you have a joy or a sorrow that you'd like to share this morning, please type it in the chat.
I'm Sarah Hunter, and a member of this church. And I just wanted to thank the auction committee. That was fantastic. Food was fun, the people were fun, and now my calendar is full with lots of dinners and breakfasts and a red hat. So thanks so much.
Just to follow up on the auction. The actual people of the auction was David Krober, Michelle Krugman, Miriam Batanian, Martin Podorowski, Colin Decker, Francie Deeskin, Beth Harris, and Donna Melcher. Oh, Todd and Kelly Callan, too. So, and other many volunteers. So I wanted to follow up on that. So thank you. One more thing to add, too, after you. Okay, come on up. But I wanted to special recognition. We raised over $26,000 last week. Really an amazing thing.
I also got a sermon, so I get to work with Dave on what we're going to talk about. And it's always a surprise.
Hi there, I'm Lynn Hannon, and I am actually the membership chair, and so this is a pebble of clarification that I'll call a joy. So the UU 102 class this afternoon, it's not for first-time visitors, it's for anyone who's been coming for a while and wants to know more about UUMAN, and you're welcome to come even if you've been coming here for 25 years and just want to brush up. See you there.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Ratcliffe. I have a joy that a young man that I met back in November, well, it was a little longer than that, but I met him in person in November at our 3rd annual UU Georgia Legislative Action Network Conference. He is a member of the Unitarian Fellowship in Athens, and he is running for for Representative District 46. The last time that I supported a UU, she won.
Hello, I'm Lexi.
And I'm Donna.
And we went to the Roswell Pride Prom.
It was so fun.
It was so much fun. And I won Best Dressed, so.
With a mushroom hat.
I was a giant mushroom.
We cut the rug.
I did.
It was fun.
Yeah. So we represented, and all of the young adults came out, and they had a table, and they also did a really great job representing. So we're really proud of them.
Hi, I'm Richard Wamba. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, and I've kind of gone through a rough time with a divorce and all that years ago and trying to find my path. And my heart has been kind of dead for a while. And this is a pebble of hope and joy because I have a new Valentine. And that's kind of weird for me, but anyway, I sure hope it works out. But anyway, joy.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm your intern minister, and I know I do this a lot, but this is my favorite part of the service. I think I mentioned that. In my day job, I work in an interfaith center, and today is Soul Food Gospel Fest, where we've invited 5 choirs from around Georgia to come sing at Emory. And then this week we have Ash Wednesday services. We have the first iftar of Ramadan on Thursday, and it's Maha Shivratri, a Hindu holiday this week too. And it just fills my heart that I get to be a part of all of these things. It's so magical and so wonderful. I feel so blessed to be able to do this. And why does it all have to fall in one week?
Drop one final pebble for all the joys and sorrows still too tender to escape the folds of our hearts. Let us keep one another in our thoughts for the coming week.
Our reading is the poem For Alex Jeffrey Preddy by Amanda Gorman. We wake with no words, just woe and wound. Our own country shooting us in the back is not just brutality, it's jarring betrayal. Not enforcement, but execution. A message: love your people and you will die. Yet our greatest threat isn't the outsiders among us, but those among us who never look within. Fear not those without papers, but those without conscience. Know that to care intensively, united, is to carry both pain, dark horror for today, and a profound, daring hope for tomorrow. We can feel we have nothing to give, and still beloved this world waiting, trembling to change. If we cannot find words, may we find the will. If we ever lose hope, may we never lose our humanity. The only undying thing is mercy, the courage to open ourselves like doors, hug our neighbor, and save one more bright, impossible life. I imagine that that poem reflects pretty well the despair you might feel after months of federal occupation in Minneapolis. I bet if I were in Minneapolis, I would be feeling pretty worn out and hopeless. I imagine what it might be like to feel like you can't even leave your house to go out in the yard. I mean, kind of like COVID lockdown, but a whole lot worse. Instead of a virus waiting outside, it could be men with guns. And then there are the helpers. Over 1,200 clergy people responded to a call to go to Minneapolis for January 23rd to make an interfaith statement about what was happening there. 200 of them were Unitarian Universalist ministers. 4 of them were from Atlanta. What I heard over and over again in their reports is that they hope that our communities would respond as beautifully as the people in Minneapolis. But imagine those helpers in Minneapolis. Imagine putting on the auction every week, maybe even more, maybe 5 holiday celebrations in 1 week, plus the auction. Imagine taking groceries to your neighbors who are afraid to leave their houses. Imagine following ICE officers with whistles and trying your best to block them, even with your car. It would take a level of vigilance and dedication that's hard to muster, I would think. How can we support those people who are doing all of that hard work in Minneapolis? Now, as a congregation, this month we are splitting our 50-50 plate with an organization in Minneapolis to help those who have been affected. And yes, the federal government has said that it's going to ramp things down, But that doesn't mean an end to the problems that this has caused over the last 2 months. Loss of wages, businesses closing, it goes on and on. But those ways, so money is a really important way to help. And those UU ministers going to Minneapolis to make a statement, that helps too. But what can we do right here, right now, in this sanctuary? Have you ever found yourself emotionally exhausted in a situation that seems hopeless, but then something that's objectively really small makes a huge difference? I think that's a pretty common thing to have happen. Maybe it was a smile, maybe it was a kind word, maybe it was a note, or maybe it was just a cup of coffee that at least gave you a little bit of gas for your tank of hope so that you could keep going. So a week ago, there was a post on Facebook in the Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association page, which I am lucky to be a part of. It's not a huge group of UU ministers active on Facebook, I'll tell you that right now. Just generationally, there's just that middle, Gen Xers. But Oscar Lewis Sinclair, who is a minister in Minneapolis at Unity Church Unitarian, wrote this. He posted a picture of a hallway with letters pasted along the hall. And he says, "Hi, colleagues. A few weeks ago, one of you, I can't remember who, suggested that out-of-state congregations send notes to our churches in Minnesota. I admit I thought it was a little hokey at the time, but I kept my peace. I was wrong. Hardly a new experience for me, because this is what the hallway of Unity Church Unitarian looks like now. And I can't show the picture with you, but we are adding notes as they come in, and I keep seeing congregants come into the church shaken and worn by whatever they have seen or been a part of that day. Stand at this wall reading for a moment, take a deep breath, and then head out. Thank you. Thank you." And in the comments of that post, 4 more ministers in Minnesota chimed in. Here at First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis, we have a similar wall, and we are so grateful. Yes, these messages have been such a comfort to the tired folks in our congregation. Same sentiments. We are so, I always say this word wrong, buoyed by these notes. And lastly, Minnesota Valley UU Fellowship has also been receiving notes, and we are so grateful. So now an invitation to all of you. You noticed that the room is set up a little differently than our average worship service. We invite you to turn in to the table that you are closest to. But hold on, let me give you some instructions first. On each table are Valentine's making supplies. You're invited to make Valentines for our UU colleagues and friends in Minnesota who are being affected by things there, and to also have a conversation. Now, I understand not everybody wants to have a conversation at church. Introversion is a thing. You don't have to talk if you don't want to, but you can at least share some feelings via Valentine. So if you choose to participate in conversation at your table, here's what we'd like you to discuss. What gives you hope? What little things have kept you going? And what small actions have you given or received that made a big difference? And you will now have about 10 minutes to discuss and make Valentines. There we go. Okay. Where's the We'd like to invite the choir to retake their seats. That whole table is back. Okay. All righty. Okay, the rest of you. Ding. Again. Okay. All right, everyone else, if you would kindly put your completed Valentines in a brown envelope. If you don't have a brown envelope on your table, there will be one at a table next to you. I think just a couple of tables don't have a brown envelope. So if you could put completed Valentines in a brown envelope. And you can keep working if that's what you'd like to do. And I hope that this gave you a little bit of joy, a little bit of hope for your tank, and I am sure that the recipients will get a bit of hope from you and your heart.
We took each other's thing here.
Yes. My name is Joan Rossi, and I'm the 50/50 coordinator here at UUMAN. This month, our 50/50 recipient, as we've talked about, is the Minnesota Immigrants' Rights Action Committee, or called MIRAC. MIRAC is a grassroots organization created in 2006 that is fully employed by volunteers. Everyone who works there is a volunteer. They work to mobilize and educate the immigrant communities in the Minnesota and particularly Minneapolis area right now. Some of the resources that they provide are anti-deportation document preparation, temporary protected status, food, housing, know your rights classes, and many, many more. The recent activities by ICE and Custom Border Protection in Minneapolis have forced many immigrant families into hiding. MIRAC's core belief is that no one is illegal. They support legalization and full equality for all, an end to immigration detention and deportation, and an end to border militarization. MIRAC's mission to support these communities is more important than ever. Please see the insert in your worship outline. It describes in greater detail some of the principles that MIRAC stands for. And today is the 50/50 Sunday to collect for MIRAC, so please give generously. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. I meant to tell you about last month's contributions. So here's an update on the past 50/50 collections. In December, we partnered with the Foster Care Support Foundation. They provide support and vital basic needs to displaced children across the state who are not in state-supported foster care, but are placed with family members. Your generous contributions resulted in a donation in the amount of $635.57. Thank you. Okay. In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share of their time, treasure, and talents. With this, we will now take the offering. You may use the Give Now option in the Breeze app or web browser. And I think it's the choir.
We accept the sacred offering generously given by our beloved members and friends. May we in MIRAC use that to further our missions in the world.
You are able, and join us in singing hymn 1014, Standing on the Side of Love, again in the softback hymnal.
Is blessed and made known, the truth in our hearts.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Before I close, before you leave, if you could take as much as you can carry and dump it in that bin over there by the door. It would help us cleaning up. We won't be here all afternoon. So today's benediction is by Amanda Gorman, adapted slightly. Answering the call, sending a little love to Minneapolis. Answering the call, sending a little love requires us to carry both the pain-dark horror of today and a profound, daring hope for tomorrow. Knowing that our greatest threat isn't outsiders amongst us, but those who never look within. You may feel you have nothing to give, but you do. We all do. And looking within can help you find it. So look within, answer the call, and continue to find fresh, new ways to send a little love, to save one more bright and possible life. Go in peace and enjoy your week.